there's someone out there trying to commit suicide and they sees your video and the person feels happy or the person feels like there's a reason why he should have some hope to continue living. So social media has done great good to us. It has helped us even to get jobs, because most of the jobs we get is for social media. So yes, social media has done great good.
Absolutely. In a small town north of Ivory Coast, we meet more than 100 children that form a philharmonic orchestra, the first of its kind in the country. Some of the young rural musicians have never seen an instrument when they started, and now these budding artists are daring to dream big.
Nine-year-old Leila Koulibaly is among almost 140 children who make up an ensemble based in the rural northern town of Odiene in Ivory Coast. Although they gather once a week, the children aged 6 to 16 are usually picked up by a minibus every day and brought to a hotel. They practice music for more than 2 hours with traditional instruments, including the balafon, a type of xylophone, and djembe drums.
I want to be a professional musician because the orchestra changed my life. There's nothing here. The orchestra is important for us. It helps us to organize ourselves well, to tolerate each other and be disciplined.
The Youth Development Program is inspired by Venezuelan initiative El Sistema, which teaches music to children from disadvantaged backgrounds. The orchestra was set up in the West African nation by Minister for Employment and Social Protection, Adama Kamara, who is personally funding it. The conductor, Fabrice Kofi, has watched over each student from the very first rehearsal.
In fact, we are doing the opposite of what a traditional orchestra does. That's to say, at a traditional orchestra is a gathering all of the best musicians who have won competitions, who have received a diploma, etc. Here, the Ojende Children's Philharmonic Orchestra started by bringing them together as an orchestra, and that's where they learn about instruments, playing technique, music theory, and so on.
Musique et tout.
Last August, less than a year after the orchestra was created, the children played for Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara on the anniversary of Côte d'Ivoire's independence from France, which occurred in 1960. They also performed the popular Ivorian song Coup du Marteau, or The Blow of the Hammer, which became a hit during the 2024 Africa Cup of Nations.
Cartoon Network and Max recently announced an all-Nigerian cast for Iyanu, the epic superhero animated series created by Nigerian animator and storyteller Roy Okupe. It follows the journey of a young girl named Iyanu as she discovers her superhuman abilities and the destiny that ties her to her homeland. Roy visited VOA Studios and spoke to me about the inspiration behind the series and how he hopes the story will impact the global perception of Nigerian culture and mythology.
So for me, Iyanu it came out from me thinking about, and I have a 3-year-old daughter now, but before she was born, I always fantasized that if I had a daughter, like, what is something that, we could both watch together and enjoy, but at the same time, something that can also educate her about, where she's from and our history and our culture. So for me, it's been the driving force to really create something that my daughter, who is now 3, can enjoy and also be inspired by as well.
And what are some of your creative influences, both in terms of storytelling and artistic style?
Man, how long do you have? I have a lot of influences. Obviously, I grew up watching a lot of the, Marvel and DC shows. So Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, X-Men. I grew up a fan of superheroes. But at the same time, for me, I've always wanted to see these type of stories being told from the African perspective, because growing up in Nigeria, you get to hear about a lot of history, culture, and mythology that's so exciting that you feel like a lot of people all over the world would appreciate and enjoy as well.
What has been the most rewarding part of this experience, and what was your reaction when you finally found out that HBO were adapting your work?
So when I found out Cartoon Network and Max was going to be adapting it, I would say I don't want to talk too much about it because some of it's embarrassing, some of the screams and the shouting I was doing. But I think it was just being grateful and just being humble with the opportunity to really get a chance to tell this story the right way with the right people.
In what ways do you hope this series will impact this perception of Nigerian culture and mythology globally?
One thing that I've always tried to do is, when you grow up in Nigeria and what you see in mainstream media is always negative when it's being told about, Africans, whether it's poverty or corruption. And it's not like these things aren't there, but it doesn't paint the full picture. So for me, I'm trying to paint a full picture where we get to see more of the stuff you won't see in mainstream media, more of the inspirational stuff about our history, our culture, how resilient our people are, how beautiful our culture is, how great our food is, like all these things that you don't necessarily get to see in mainstream mainstream media is what I really hope people are going to be excited to see.
And let's get some of your thoughts on the current state of the animation industry, the African animation industry, regarding diversity and inclusion.
To me, I think it's a growing industry. Obviously, it's still in its infancy, but there's a lot of animation studios in Nigeria specifically that I can talk about that are doing great things. Magic Carpet, Spoof Animation, Ant Hill Studios. These are some of the people that are really taking brave steps to really uplift and elevate the animation industry in Africa. And a lot of people outside Africa are taking notice, like Netflix and Amazon. You also have studios like Triggerfish in South Africa. You have some amazing studios in Kenya. So we're seeing the growth happen. And I think people just need to continue to support the content that comes out if they want to continue to see the growth.
VOA's Azuma Kampore takes us to the heart of the action in Boonsboro, Maryland, to meet the Hamiltons, a family whose love for drag racing unites them in the most exhilarating way. Let's check it out.
The Mason-Dixon Dragway Classic is a spectacle of speed and adrenaline. For 3 generations, they've made this track their second home, a place where their passion for racing has evolved into a family tradition.
It's an incredible feeling racing. It's a great adrenaline rush. It's release. It's like a little bit of everything.
In the moment, I'm not feeling or thinking. It's so quick. My adrenaline's up. I love it.
Kevin's passion for racing is infectious. His 2 sons and daughter, Haley, have all followed in his tire tracks.
I grew up at the track. I was here since I was like 3. He taught me everything I know. That's how I was able to be track champ last year.
Basically, just want to get a good reaction time, run my number, get a win. So I had a better reaction time. He broke out by a little bit more than what I broke out by. He got the win, slid by that one.
When it comes to racing, Haley goes all in. For her, it's all about the basics, like getting a good burnout.
If I don't get a good burnout, my tire could slip and it could cause me to crash. It's good to get that traction. You want to get that tire hot so it sticks to the track.
Racing is not without its risks, and the Hamiltons know this all too well.
My mom with racing, she is very anxious about it. My dad did crash and my brother did crash, and she's seen other people crash. There's always risk factors, but it's the love.
Despite the anxiety, racing remains what unites the Hamiltons. It's the bond that shows their love for the sport and the legacy they are building together, regardless of all financial outcomes.
It takes a lot of money, a lot of time. It's like you never make enough money to take the money out of the sport to the home. but you take money out of the home to the sport, you know?
It's addictive. It really drags you in. I have a love for the sport, and I plan on getting my kids to do it eventually, so.
And on days like this, during Memorial Day weekend, the sacrifice is worth it, especially as they get to honor those who served and to celebrate family.
Well, Memorial Day weekend's always been a special weekend where family and friends get together, and I just can't be any more happy that I get to spend time with my family, my friends, doing something I love.
Remembrance, family, and the pursuit of passion. At the Mason-Dixon Dragway Classic 2024, the Hamiltons aren't just racing, they are creating memories that will last a lifetime. Arzuma Kampaure for VOA News, Boonesboro, Maryland.
Thank you for watching VOA's Red Carpet. I'm Jackson Vunganye. For more entertainment news, remember to check us out at voaafrica.com. We are also on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. Don't forget to like, to share, and to subscribe. Until next time, goodbye everyone.